Hello folks. So today I wanted to discuss an important transit coming up. To those who have subscribed, a very big thank you. But if you've not yet done so, please take a moment and hit that red icon on the right hand side. Yeah, so let's get started. Now, one thing I want to mention before starting is, now generally my approach to astrology is try to dissect the deeper layers and understand what is going on in the chart. I don't really like to sugarcoat things, but on the other hand, I also don't like to focus on the negative, because my belief is that even if the situation is very difficult, it will only compound the problem if you keep focusing on the challenges. So it's important to stress the positive, either through changing your habits, your outlook, or your practices. And to some extent, the company that you keep makes a huge difference. And this is very important to understand, especially being that this is a video about Saturn's transit. The mind actually naturally gravitates toward the negative. And because of this, when you hear a negative or pessimistic prediction, you're more likely to believe it than a positive one. To believe the positive actually is more difficult to do. If you have certain habits and practices, you'll be able to filter out the negative intuitively. And you'll get into the habit of discarding it, managing it, or at least be able to see the big picture, the higher meaning, when the outcome is not what you hoped for. Yeah. But if you're consuming negative information on a regular basis, you can easily manifest the same. So it's important what you listen to, read, speak, who or what is influencing you, right? Just some thoughts there. All right, so today we'll look at Saturn's movement into Shatabhisha Nakshatra. Saturn moves into Shatabhisha Nakshatra on March the 14th, 2023, and will stay there till October the 15th, 2023. 7 months. And then from November 24th, 2023 till April the 6th, 2024. So around 12 months in total. We always see the aspects to determine the impact of a transit. Saturn has that normal 7th aspect, but its more powerful aspects are the 3rd and the 10th aspects, right? 10th is the most powerful one because due to the fact that Saturn is a Garaka of the 10th house. And so this is where we see the difficult karma manifesting in our lives. So Saturn being in Aquarius, that 10th aspect will be on Scorpio. So see what Scorpio signifies for you. This is the place that you will have to surrender somewhat. So essentially, during this transit, Saturn will aspect Leo, Scorpio, as well as Aries. If you have important planets in these signs, get ready for some big life changes. Some that you may not like, some that you will like very much, and certainly some surprises with lots of growth potential. For this video, I'm going to focus on Shatabhisha, and then we'll get more into Saturn's transit. Okay. The word Shatabhisha is formed from 2 words. There's Shata, which means 100, and Bisaj, which means healers. The symbol of Shatabhisha is an empty circle, which indicates the ability to explore mysteries and philosophies of the unknown. There is a focus on mysteries and secrets of the universe, the hidden powers, such as astrology, occult, tantra, tarot, magic. All of that is supported by this nakshatra. It can show an enclosed circle, a secret club, like a group, a cult, or a community where you can obtain hidden information. This can also mean a spiritual community. People may want to come out of a closed boundary now. For some, this can mean coming out of a reclusive lifestyle that they have been in since the pandemic. And in Capricorn, there would have been a feeling of not having enough, a feeling of scarcity. So this will now start to fade. People will start to focus on goals like relationships, travel, learning, moving, changing jobs. And there will be a feeling that where I am, I don't want to be anymore. So a need for change is paramount now. With Saturn in Shatabhisha and Jupiter in Revati, now the complete energy of Aquarius will manifest. So people will start to move and travel a lot. People will communicate a lot more now as well. You may have an urge to spend time and energy to recreate a community that dissolved back in 2019-20. An interactive energy will now prevail. Businesses that include interaction with people will start to flourish now too. Like that could be like being like a therapist, a lecturer, teacher, doctor, that sort of thing. If you have a people-focused profession, then you can reap the benefits of this Saturn transit. Now, the deity of Shatabhisha is Varuna. In the Rig Veda, he's considered the god of water element and all the bodies of water, such as rivers, lakes, oceans. So we may see extremes in weather. Some areas too much rain and flooding, and some areas in complete drought with Saturn's movement here. Varuna is also referred to as the dark sun, which is essentially Dakshinayan, or the sun's movement south after the summer solstice. When it reaches Garka, when it's like the Cancer move, transition to Cancer, which is the Garka Sankranti. Hence it is called the dark sun, because the light starts to diminish now. So this season of the year is when Shatabhisha energy is the strongest. It's the summer onward. The controlling planet of Shatabhisha is, of course, Rahu, which points to risk-taking, ambitious activities this year in order to make life improvements. Now, favorable activities in Shatabhisha include healing, forgiveness, meditation, paying debts, correcting mistakes, signing business deals, contracts, land and property deals, travel, sexual activity, astronomy, astrology, therapies of all kinds, especially water therapies and oil therapies, media, technology, visiting areas where there are bodies of water, like the ocean, the sea. Shatabhisha spans from 640 till 20 degrees of Aquarius. Saturn will start its transit in Pada 1 of Shatabhisha in the Navamsha of Sagittarius. On March the 14th, when Saturn enters Shatabhisha, it goes into the Navamsha of Sagittarius. Yeah. In the beginning of this transit, Saturn is with Mercury and Sun. And at this time, Rahu, the controlling planet, and of course the ruling planet of Aquarius, is in conjunction with Venus in Aries. So it can result in some powerful attractions. It can mean the beginning of new relationships also, as soon as this transit begins. Saturn moving into Shatabhisha will see people connecting with others more. This is confirmed by the fact that Mars also moves out of Venus's sign Taurus around the same time in March. And this need to connect with others will increase more by June when Ketu moves out of Swati. In the first Navamsha of Sagittarius, it's a good time to be charitable, generous. It's a great time to travel. It's an excellent time to initiate a new life path. This life path could be related to your place of residence, your career, your goals, anything. Your relationships. On April 16th, Saturn moves into the Capricorn Navamsha around the same time that Jupiter will start its Gandant journey in Pisces. Here there can be some overconfidence and being led in the wrong direction. It's, however, a good time to get organized and plan. All material activities are supported at this time. We see a conjunction of Rahu with an exalted sun also happening. So watch for excessive ambition here, mid-April onwards. You can also be consumed by work at this time and deprioritize others. Capricorn is a wealth-focused pada. Here, work and ambitions can overwhelm you. You can end up neglecting your home or domestic life. Or there could be issues popping up here, there, that are kind of like just hard to deal with. It stays a long time in this pada because Saturn goes retrograde from June the 17th till November the 4th. You will will also experience 2 eclipses at this time, one in April and one in May. And also this time corresponds to Rahu in transit, to Rahu being in Aries with Jupiter, right? Forming the Guru Jindal Yoga. So it can lead to excessive greed and selfishness now. Look out for dealings that are outside of the rules and code of conduct. It's a good time for wealth-generating activities, but if your dealings are deceptive, they may be punished later when Saturn returns to Dhanishta later in the year. Saturn is in Capricorn Navamsha from April the 16th till August the 21st. On August 22nd, it retreats back into the Sagittarius Navamsha and stays there until October the 15th. This will allow you to go back to long-term planning, traveling, moving if necessary. So because that Guru Jindal Yoga is happening at that time, I would say be aware of deception and as I mentioned, like doing things outside of the rules and code of conduct between that phase there, April 16th to August 21st. That's kind of the critical few months. In the Sagittarius Navamsha, where it will be until October 15th, is a good time for learning new subjects. Any sort of higher learning, education, even spiritual subjects are favored. October 15th, Saturn retreats back into the Nishta in the Navamsha of Scorpio till November 24th. This is also a difficult few weeks from October 15th till November 24th, because at that time we're also going to have the 2 eclipses. It's an aggressive transit for Saturn in these few weeks, but it's only about 5 weeks, right? We have the eclipse taking place at this time, October 14th, 15th, depending on where you are in the world, and the other one on the 28th of October. So it can be kind of like a very highly sensitized time. Yeah, these 5 weeks. Again, these eclipses are taking place in the same Aries Libra axis, impacting relationships. There can be also push and pull energy between individual goals and group goals or couple goals at this time. And it can result in some endings and some new beginnings too. At this time, the Rahu Ketu axis is beginning to change too, right? Rahu Ketu is getting ready to leave and enter Pisces Virgo. So a new chapter for many people, right? Late October. It could also result, as I said, in relationship breaks. For some people, it will be a final culmination to the matters that are impacted by Aries and Libra. You will see the hint of a new path opening up because the nodal axis shifts to Pisces and Virgo. Of course, how you're impacted is dependent on the dasha that you're going through, as well as if you have personal planets in this axis. Ketu moving through Libra would have brought major transformation in relationships, in business relationships, personal ones, marriages, committed partnerships of all kinds. From November 24th till January 11th, 2024, Saturn returns to the first pada, which is that upbeat Sagittarius Navamsha. So now the storm has passed and the optimism returns. It's a good time for doing some philanthropy if you ever thought about it. Any kind of charitable initiative, seva. Good time to take any bold initiatives actually right now. From January 11th till February 10th, Saturn moves through the Capricorn Navamsha once again. And from February 10th, Saturn starts its powerful Virgotham transit in the Aquarius Navamsha. The beginning of this transit, we see Saturn and Mars in a conjunction in D9 Aquarius. Being Virgotham, it can also, of course, give on the material levels. We can see past karmas resurfacing in our lives now. You can take actions now to fulfill that past pending karma. We're talking about Aquarius after all. If you wanted to quit a bad habit, then this is the time to do it. If you wanted to reconnect with someone or something, it could be an activity, then now is the time to do it. Because of the cosmic circle that is a symbol of this nakshatra, it can be difficult to escape situations because there's a feeling of again and again and again, the repeating of patterns. You are starting and then you're restarting and you're just like feeling of going in circles. But with Saturn moving here, you can either put a final end to the pattern or indeed a restart and go back to something that is undone and finish once and for all. On March the 8th, Saturn moves through Pada 4, Pisces Navamsha, which is again ruled by Jupiter and remains there until the end of this transit, which is April the 6th. This is a fortunate phase of the transit and can give on the material levels. It's also good for activities related to photography, filmmaking, learning about practices such as meditation, going on retreats, all that stuff. Saturn's movement, its transit, impacts us more dramatically than any other planet. And in fact, only the nodal transits can affect us with the same intensity. Now, if there's one word to describe Saturn, that's limitation. This means understanding the limits imposed on the soul and working within those parameters. So any place Saturn touches, any house it rules, you start to see life's barriers highlighted there because Saturn will show you the limits and the limits of time. And you become aware of all those aspects that are out of your control. Saturn can signify setbacks, delays, endings, restrictions. And ultimately, it teaches us to accept those limits and develop patience. But because Saturn in Aquarius is in its comfort zone, when it gives a sorrow, the karmic impact will be much less. Though we are talking about Shatabhisha and the cosmic circle, so we will be faced with our karma. Consequences of our past actions will surface now, some fortunate outcomes, some not so much. And in some cases, we can find ourselves going in a circle, returning to an old way, an old relationship, an old life. So wherever Aquarius falls in your chart, you may see this result. In order to really understand how this transit will affect you, you need to look at the following. If you have any planets that are situated in Shatabhisha, see what they represent. If you have personal planets like Moon, Venus, Mercury, or you're in the dasha of those planets, then you'll be impacted directly. Let's take some examples. Let's suppose you are Scorpio Lagna and you have Venus. You've got Venus sitting in Shatabhisha. Then, of course, this would trigger your 7th and 12th house matters as Venus rules those houses for Scorpio, right? So some undesirable travel can come up. Perhaps you were trying to move abroad, but some hiccups come up. So you're unable to do that and you have to postpone it. Relationship matters could also go through some ups and downs especially if you have a serious partner. Because Saturn moving over 7th Lord can bring some disappointment and sorrow in a relationship. It may result in breakups for some people and for others, a complete transformation within their relationship. And usually one that you didn't see coming. If you're going through a Rahu Dasha or Antardasha, or if you have Rahu in Shatabhisha, this could trigger the areas that Rahu signifies in your chart. Those in Rahu Dasha can feel some lack and limits in areas that are represented by Saturn and Rahu in their chart. We also have to see not only the controlling planet of the nakshatra, but also the ruling deity. Here we have Varuna, the deity that's connected with water. Any proximity to water, ocean, water sports, water therapies, all can be beneficial now. The Shakti of Shatabhisha is the power to heal. And water, of course, is a great healing force. While Ashwini gives immediate and quick solutions, and cures, Shatabhisha tends to produce a crisis that leads to a complete rejuvenation through prolonged healing efforts. And at times, this can be miracle cures also. Yeah. Now, Rahu being in Ashwini at the same time, till the end of October, means that now is the time to seek solutions for long pending problems. You will get quick and miraculous results. When Rahu moves into Remedies in November, the focus will be more on creativity, innovation, growth. So now is an excellent transit to make any changes, especially to bring healing to the areas of your life that need it so that you can move forward later. Some remedies for Shatabhisha: spending time in nature, especially in your water bodies. Integrate essential oils in your life, like using on your hair, your skin for aromatherapy. Keep plants, feed animals, feed birds. This is auspicious for Saturn in Shatabhisha. If you do mantra puja or deity worship, then of course Shiva gets associated with this nakshatra. Any mantra for Shiva is excellent to practice. Or fasting on Mondays. That's also good. As always, Dasha serves as the background and takes importance. So if you're in a Saturn Dasha, then this transit is very relevant for you. As usual, feel free to leave your comments. And do remember to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you, folks. All the best. Take care.